to Good Morning Football. Our next guest is here with a very important message. He's a third overall pick in 2017 NFL Draft. Please welcome to the breakfast table 49ers defensive end Solomon Thomas, and he's here with Dr. Christine Moudier, Chief Medical Officer of the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Doctor, how are you doing?
Doing great.
Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. We'll get to you in a minute. Solomon, I have to talk to you. Training camp is around the corner. There's a lot of hype about the 49ers and them finally being healthy and having their pieces of the puzzle together. Are you excited about training camp, and what are you looking forward to?
Yes, sir. So excited about training camp, about the upcoming season. You know, injuries have been a problem for us in the past, and we're finally healthy. So it's going to be a great season for us. Just going to go out there, play as hard as we can, and go win for our city.
We say this all the time. You know, last year it didn't go how you wanted, but it was such a strange year because of the Garoppolo injury and Jerick McKinnon got hurt. It's almost like you didn't get an A or an F. It's like you got an incomplete.
Yes, sir.
But now we hear that Jimmy looks great, that he feels great. I'm a huge fan of him. Give us something to be excited about with how Jimmy looks right now. Is he ready to roll?
Jimmy always looks great. You know, Jimmy looks great.
Oh, it's like $1 million bucks. It's a lot more than $1 million bucks.
Yeah, it's a lot more. But yeah, Jimmy's looking great. Look great in OTAs. You know, we're really excited for him. Excited for all the guys coming back. It's going to be a really fun year for us.
Oh, let's go. Let's go.
You know, Solomon, a lot of our viewers that are watching this morning may not necessarily be familiar with this, but you lost your sister Ella in January of 2018. I got to ask you, how do you play through something like that? Because your dad was quoted as saying, it didn't seem like you loved football again until almost a year later.
Yeah, and it's not like I ever lost my love for football. It was more of just I lost my love for life. It was just hard to continue to move on, or not move on, to continue to live, I guess, in a way, because I just, throughout the grieving process, you go through stages of like depression, anger, and I was just in the middle of that stage, and the hit rising season started right, like probably the middle of preseason, and I just was kind of like, you know, what am I doing? Like, I was just going through the motions, you know, and I'm normally someone who gives my all for everything, and it's not like I wasn't working hard, but what was I really working for? Because I didn't really care about anything, and so that was just really hard for me to find that passion again. And once I started like working, like started seeing a therapist, started seeking out help, talking to people about my problems and trying to find a way to move in the middle of this grieving process was when I was finally can start seeing clear again, could start like using my body like I wanted to again, started feeling athletic again, started feeling like I could, like when I did something, it meant something and it like felt good. So that's like kind of when my dad like was talking about when I gained my love for football, because you could see it on the field, like I was just playing different, I was moving different, and so that was just a huge part of my process moving on for me.
And Solomon, you're here with Dr. Moudier, and there's a special connection between you guys, and Doctor, you can chime in about what he's been through in his loss.
Oh, yes. I mean, mental health struggles, crisis, and suicide. Ella died by suicide. That kind of experience is far more common than people realize. We just haven't been talking about it in our society.
Right.
Well, we're talking about it now, and the culture's changing around the real things that people deal with. Mental health is a part of health. We all have mental health, just like we all have our physical health. And you know, what Solomon was just talking about and describing is really the power of your brain and your mind. And when you're not at your best in any part of your body, including your mind, your mental health, it's going to affect you in your life, your performance, how you feel, your perception of everything. So, you know, mental health is truly that important. A lot of people aren't familiar with this, but I cover the Dallas Cowboys, and Randy Gregory deals with this quite a bit. This is something that, you know, a lot of people have thought it's a drug issue, but for him it's documented, it's mental health. You know, with the stigma that surrounds mental health in men, how can the 49ers and the NFL really prioritize the mental well-being of some of their players?
I think the NFL, they've taken a great step recently, and I think it was like a month ago or so they came out with a new initiative, like, you know, to have like the NFL hotline where like family members, legends, you know, staff, and like family members can like reach out to this hotline if they're needing assistance or help, or also like a counseling and assistance services where you get up to, I think, 8 free sessions. So I think like the NFL is doing a great job taking initiative, and the 49ers have been amazing for my family and I throughout my process. John Lynch reached out to me mid-season last year. You could tell I was going through a hard time, and most GMs would kind of be like, oh, he's not playing well, like, okay, I'm gonna put him under the rug. But no, John Lynch reached out to me and asked me if I needed help, and he found a therapist for me, and I've been working with her ever since, and she's really kind of changed my life. And John and the Niners have been amazing to me, but I think it's more of just like kind of us men in the NFL, like we need to take the step more of the NFL. The NFL needs to help as well, but like the NFL like like the men who are in there, we need to take a huge step as well. Just kind of like we're in this like old toxic like lifestyle we live where we say like, you know, mental health is all about being tough, like be a man. And, you know, that's not true. You know, to be strong, to be a man is to be vulnerable and really, like, be uncomfortable in certain situations, because that's when you grow the most, when you're uncomfortable, when you're vulnerable, and you're letting someone know how you truly feel, because it's so easy to just smile and be like, hey, you know, I'm fine, or, oh, I'm good, you know. But we all go through so much, and, like, just to say, like, football's only stress is such a lie. So it's just really important for us to, like, kind of start speaking out about our problems, being uncomfortable, because when you're vulnerable, you also get other people to be vulnerable. And then you can start a conversation, and that starts a conversation on mental health and what's going wrong. You can help someone else out, you can help yourself out. So I feel like that's, like, a huge step for the NFL as men. Like,
Well said.
Really well said. Dr. Mudiay, you must run into this archaic, barbaric mentality that toughness should get you through mental illness. What's your response to that for these players in this community?
Yeah, I mean, that would be like saying, you know, don't pay attention to your injury. You know, it only makes sense to pay attention to it, to be honest, to be as proactive as possible, in fact. You don't have to wait until it reaches a crisis point. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about what's going on at the NFL, is it's not just crisis lines, but it's building in mental health support proactively. So, you know, we're really talking about culture change in a way. What Solomon's describing is when people start talking and sharing at that deeper level, then you know that it's taking effect, that we can actually address our mental health as proactively as possible.
Solomon, there was a moment in the middle of last season where you were approached by your general manager, John Lynch, a very important moment. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, sir. So yeah, it was probably mid-season, just like I was talking about, and John, he just kind of noticed I was down, and he came up to me. It was like in the cafeteria before breakfast one time. He just pulled me aside. He was like, "Hey, Solly, if you need help, we can get you help. Like, we're here for you." And I kind of made me step back and realize how in a bad spot I was, how I was such in a dark hole, and that just really like realized that, you know, I need something, I need help, and that really had me like go to him and be like, hey John, like I really want to take advantage of that, and like he found a therapist for me, and therapy's been great for me, you know, it really helped me like kind of like free my mind and just really like sort out like what I need and just kind of like be free again. So that was huge for me.
No doubt.
Solomon, we appreciate you joining us. Dr. Mudiay, thank you so much. I had to learn in my 30s that transparency could be transformative. And what you're saying is that the men in the NFL need to take that chance and open up themselves emotionally, because when we do that, it's healing, not just for ourselves, for everybody. We appreciate you. Thank you for coming and speaking, and also for you, doctor, so much. Now, if you're having any issues or you want to reach out, there's the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. It's 1-800-273-TALK. That's T-L-A-K. And if you're in crisis, please call that number, or you can text the line by texting TALK, T-A-L-K, 741-741. And now let's go from New York to the West Coast, where Will Selva is waiting with some news for us. Will, what's up, man?
All right, thank you, Nate. I appreciate that. Well, Twitter was down for an hour on Thursday, and caused people to interact with other humans as a result. There was a minor freak out before it was restored. There's more, or going to be a possibility of freak out if Dallas doesn't have contract extensions handed out for Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, and Amari Cooper at some point.